Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Seth Meyers, clinical psychologist, and I wanted to share that on the podcast Insight with Dr. Seth, I get a lot of requests to talk about particular topics that people are struggling with, people want a little bit more information on, or people want to hear me share my thoughts about. So, one of the questions recently that I got was, can a narcissist change? And I know that I've written a lot about narcissism. It's something that we talk about on my podcast. And I also have videos that I do on narcissism. Why? Why is narcissism something that people want more answers about? Because narcissism, when you are dealing with someone in your life, could be work, home, family, it can be overwhelming to try to manage and even understand dealing with this person, trying to make this relationship manageable and successful. I mean, is it even possible to have a successful, very consistent relationship with a narcissist? Those are all understandable questions. The question that I'm going to answer in this video is, can a narcissist change? And we'll also kind of speak a little bit to the issue of, how good can a relationship be with someone who's narcissistic? The first thing I want to share about this topic is that, of course, narcissism exists on a spectrum. Now, someone who just has a few traits is one thing. Someone who has the full blown narcissistic personality disorder and is diagnosed that way or would be diagnosed that way by a mental health professional, that is a different situation. So, someone who has really severe traits of narcissism, someone who really seems to have very little empathy, someone who always blames the other and takes really almost no responsibility for their part in the relationship when things go wrong, it is going to be very difficult for that individual to change in any significant way. So, one of the things that we need to do when we talk about can a narcissist change is we need to actually look at the word change. We need to define the word change. So, I mean, when we say, can a narcissist change, are we saying, can they become a drastically different person? So if someone has very little empathy now, is this someone that can develop extensive empathy and become a really warm and naturally caring person? Just do those behaviors and have those empathetic feelings just automatically. I mean, that would be an enormous shift in personality. Now, typically, there are a lot of traits that are fairly stable personality traits, of course, one's lifetime. Narcissism isn't just one personality trait, it is a whole series of traits. It is possible to make some small changes, but when someone is waiting or hoping for a severe narcissist to completely change who they are and really do a 180-degree turn in terms of how they operate in relationships, that usually does not happen with someone who is a severe narcissist. Now, there are ways in which a narcissist can change, but I would really caution people in a really close work or personal relationship with a narcissist to be realistic about what kinds of change are possible. So, one of the things that I have found as a psychologist is that we are more easily able to change behaviors than severely entrenched belief systems. We are more easily able to change specific behaviors. One of the things, for example, that a lot of times people talk about is, just the careless, insensitive behavior of not calling to let someone know that you will be late. That is something, if an individual is really narcissistic, that you can possibly get the narcissist to change. They may call. Now, you may say, I want the narcissist to want to call me. I want the narcissist to understand why I should be called because I'm worried about them, because we are a team, because this is a collaborative relationship, because we are equals. Now, that is different And that might not be something that you're ever going to get a narcissist to change. Let's take another example of responsibility taking. So, a lot of narcissists, they will often externalize blame. They didn't do anything wrong. They are really quick to point the finger at someone else or something else, which is the reason why maybe something failed or didn't work. If there's ever a problem, the way the narcissist operates is to say, not me, don't look at me. And if one tries to hold the narcissist accountable for anything, they will often engage in all sorts of behavior. I know that I've done a video on gaslighting, and I know that now that word has made its way into the culture so much that there's really a clear understanding of what that is. So the narcissist will engage in gaslighting. They will turn the tables, flip the script, and blame things on you. They will twist your words. So these sort of behaviors, this hyper defensive reaction style, sometimes what seems like complete avoidance of taking responsibility, is that going to change? We are talking about a reaction style that this individual has operated with for probably so many years that they have looked to this reaction style to get them out of what they perceive as so many situations where they could be found at fault, where they maybe felt pushed up against the wall and pressured. They have been in so many of those situations that that reaction style is automatic to them. It is often their natural reaction to respond and react that way. Should we expect that the narcissist is going to change that reaction style? So, one example of something that could possibly change would be that maybe when the narcissist in the past used to yell and scream and really say nasty words and label you as nasty things in the past, that maybe they would turn the volume down when they yell. Maybe they wouldn't yell as loud. Maybe they would just walk out of the room because it's too overwhelming for them rather than say mean things to you. But are you going to get someone who will listen and automatically care about your side of the situation and want to hear more and go deeper into this issue? Will sit down and really show you patience because deep down they believe that the problem that you have with them is that important, that they must see this flaw in them, that they must acknowledge, yeah, I mean, all of us are flawed. We're all human beings. I mean, are we going to expect the narcissist to think that way? Again, you have to understand the narcissist has operated for so many years and in so many situations and with so many different types of relationships that this is going to be almost impossible to change. Another way to think about it is maybe it's realistic for you to understand the color won't change, but maybe the shade could change. Maybe a lesser degree of this is possible for the narcissist. For those of you who are watching because you're in some type of close relationship with someone who's really narcissistic, I want you to understand that if there's any situation in which the narcissist may change a little, it is going to come most likely not from things that you say. It would be most likely to occur if there were another individual, a third person there to help the two of you sort of mediate these issues and work through the problem. For example, in a romantic relationship, it would be a couples therapist. If it were a relationship between a parent and a child, it could be a therapist. If it were a work situation, it could be maybe someone in human resources or a higher level boss that could help mediate this. But in a work situation, you're not really going to have the opportunity to work through kind of deep feelings. In a work situation, it would just be How can we make this relationship more functional so that we can be professional and get our job done? In a personal relationship, there can be the working through of a lot of these emotional issues, but I would really recommend that it's more likely to elicit change in the narcissist if you could get the narcissist to agree to go to some kind of therapy where the three of you try to work on specific issues together. But at the end of the day, it's really important for people in relationships with narcissists to ask themselves what they need, to ask themselves what they can be tolerant of and what they can't tolerate, and to think about what realistically they are willing to put up with if the narcissist doesn't change in all of the ways that they want. You know, when you've heard the term choose your battles, that's one way to think about it. Think about what are the things that are your deal breakers for this relationship? What are the things that you just simply can't continue to allow to happen? That's one issue. And then it's what are some specific behaviors? If the big ones can't change, what are some specific behaviors that I do want to be changed? And I do want to think about a timeline. So, by the next few weeks, I want to have implemented the change where these specific behaviors are no longer happening. Those are all some examples of a more realistic way to think about the question, can a narcissist change? And then finally, I just want to share I started in the video talking about the spectrum of narcissism, and I really been talking a lot about more severe narcissists. But for individuals who just have a couple of traits that are narcissistic, those individuals who don't have the full blown disorder, they may be able to change some of their behaviors more easily. So, I hope all of this has been helpful. Again, if this video has been helpful, please like the video. And I wish you all well as you try to navigate these difficult circumstances.